One of the things that is extraordinary about the way you managed to produce your film is the location. And how, you really cleverly managed to find one geographic location that could serve multiple story locations. So you weren't moving cast and crew around to different locations to accommodate different parts of the story. Tell us about how, what that location is and how you used it and how you got it, and even about the cafe around the corner.
I mean, I think obviously with the location, it was a matter of they approached, I think, like 10 clubs, and it was finding somewhere. There was a couple of things we're looking at doing because of the budgetary constraints. One was finding a location that would give us a deal, and the other thing was actually we went to a couple of locations in Leicester Square that were just massive. They were too big, so you're talking like 300 extras just to make it look like there's anyone in there. So there were a couple of things. It was finding somewhere that wasn't too small, but also was had the scope to have cinematic shots. And I think it was kind of, when you've got restraints, it kind of frees you up in a way to go, how can we make this space interesting? So we just kind of started thinking around the box because of our budgetary constraints. We also had a lot of outside shots as well, to be honest, because that, of course, natural lighting, and the location's just much cheaper to get. So yeah, it was just kind of, okay, look, half an hour of the film's in this location. How can we make that interesting, and how can we tie it into the story? So a lot of the story came around the restraints that we had.
But it wasn't a club, was it? It was something you made into a club.
It was like a kind of a bar / club downstairs. So yeah, and it was getting the right lights, and I mean the DPs did an incredible job of creating like a feel with strobes and stuff like that. So yeah, they did a lot to, and we actually had. A lot of kind of stuff shot in a warehouse as well, because again, it is an easier location to get at cost, so...
You got some recognisable cast in your movie. Did that help secure the deals?
Definitely.
Is that a takeaway? It's like the name makes the difference.
I think if you're doing if you're doing a feature film that you want to sell, I think... Obviously, there's, that's why I said, like, for me, it really is a drama. But, we realise that, you have to package something as, like, a genre that, will sell. But one of the most important things is also getting someone that is recognisable, because a distribution company knows that those people have followings, that press are going to be interested in them, and it makes a massissive difference.
Yeah. Because Stephen again was telling me that your lead actress was in the Daily Mail today, with a fluffy story about nothing, but in fact it's column inches about your movie.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think it's imperative, and actually, a lot of actors, if they like the concept and they are available, they're willing to help out. I think there's this whole thing of, people, and we've been blown away by not just the actors, but also like the stunt coordinator, for example, like Pete Pedrero, like what he was willing to do because he liked the project. So I think it's about being a bit cheeky, and maybe you have to ask a few people. But
what was it like when you called the agents? I mean, I think that's one of the things that emerging filmmakers find terrifying, is calling this really hard person who spends their life negotiating tough deals, and you kind of wander into this minefield.
Well, I think, to be fair to the agents, it's that, I mean, with our cast, a lot of the actors are really nice people, and the agents are just protecting the actors, basically, because a lot of times actors are really not treated very well. So it was, to be honest, the agents, we had a really good time with the agents. The agents were very reasonable, and all the requests they had were very reasonable. So we were actually very fortunate, to be honest, with the agents.
So do you think some of this is your skills as an actor coming to the role of producing? So even the opening conversation with an agent and an actor comes from a completely different place than maybe a straight filmmaker who's grown up in a bedroom editing and behind a camera and then has to somehow get out of their comfort zone and speak to actors.
Well, I didn't deal with all of the actors, but the agents that I did contact, I think I had an understanding of what they wanted to hear and what the actors wanted to hear, because ultimately they want to know that the actors are going to be treated well, that they're protected, and that it's organised. and also what's in it for the actor. So you know, obviously there's the sell of this is the character, and we think it's a great character. But there's also these things are in place, because in a lot of smaller projects, it's like they turn up, and you know they're sitting out in the cold. There's nothing, no food. There's nothing there for them. So we just kind of made them rest assured that, you know, that's all in place. They're going to be treated well, and we really did, you know, treat them well, because we realised what they were doing for us. So
it's amazing, isn't it, how what actors will put up with if you're organised, and in communication and reasonable. I mean, you can be very unreasonable actually, as long as you're in communication and clear.
They knew what we were up against. They really did, and they were very understanding, because we weren't going in pretending that, you know, we were doing a massive project. We were just, you know, here is the project, here's the deal, but we do care about it, and this is what we're trying to do. And they really were understanding. They were very understanding.
What new skills have you picked up then? There's you going into the project, there's you coming out of the project.
Yeah.
What are the new skills that you've got?
Wow, that's a really hard question. I think the thing is, it's such a cliche. I know I hate saying this, but the more, my dad's always said this, the more you learn, the more you realise you know nothing. So in a way, I've kind of come out going, okay, I need to gain this skill, I need to gain that skill, I need to gain this skill. I think the biggest thing for me is the business plan. I would look at a project very differently now. There's the creative part, which is incredibly important. But you know, we went into the film just, okay, let's just get it shot. You know, let's just get it made. You know. And that is only part of the process. So I think for me, it'd be like having a 3-year strategy for the film, from the very beginning to the very end, and just having a clearly defined business plan. I think it's probably one of the skills that I've tried to develop the most. So.
Right.